Dibs. Forget that.
Kom deze maand nog snel naar onze verlengde open deur en profiteer van gratis vloerverwarming.
Welcome back to the Alpha Gaming channel. My name is Harris Heller. I am your stream doctor, and today, oh boy, we're gonna try to fix your stream. But before we get started, I wanna remind you to make sure you hit the subscribe button for more weekly tips and tricks about OBS and streaming and blah, 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 blah. But more importantly than that, I put a lot more time into my Twitch stream than I do these YouTube videos, so make sure you follow me on Twitch and turn on those little notification bell thingies. That way you can jump into the next stream and, you know, have a good time with all of us. Troubleshooting live stream. If your OBS window is showing you a clean, smooth stream, but your Twitch actual live broadcast is glitchy, it's going to be your internet. There's also a little indicator in the bottom right of OBS that's showing you the bitrate throughput, how much it's actually able to send. That number should be staying at whatever you set your bitrate to in the OBS settings. If you see it dip below, maybe you'll see that little square turn red occasionally, then you know you have a problem with your internet. But the biggest indicator is a difference between OBS and the live stream. If you're watching OBS and when someone subscribes it lags, or maybe it's smooth for an optimized game like Overwatch, and then the moment you turn on PUBG and it's spaghetti code, Bluehole being a software company even worse than Microsoft, you fire up the game, OBS drops down to 5 frames per second, then you know it's your computer being overpowered. So first, let's talk about the 3 settings you can change to fix your problem if it is a bandwidth problem with your internet. The very first thing I would do in this situation is change your output resolution to 720p. 1080p has a total number of pixels of about 2 million. And if you're running at 60 frames per second, that means your internet is sending 2 million pixels 60 times every single second. Whereas if you crank that down to 720p, which frankly, half of your viewers are watching on their phone, they're not really gonna be able to tell a staggering difference. You're dropping the total number of pixels from over 2 million down to less than 1 million. That's a massive difference in the amount of information that your computer has to send through the internet. However, this brings us to the second setting that you'll need to change. That is your video bitrate. You're gonna find this in the output settings of OBS. Video bitrate is how much information your computer is sending every single second. And as you can imagine, .720p requires about half the amount of bitrate to maintain the same level of quality because you have half the pixels. I figured you probably figured that out, but in case you didn't, that's why. So while 1080p and 60 frames per second will probably look great around 5 megabits, you can drop it down to 720p, and I would maintain a little bit of extra headroom, maybe bring it down to 3000 or 3500 kilobits per second without any extra compression added or integrity lost in your footage. If you're still having internet issues at that point, maybe, I don't know, you're running Comcast, drop it down to 720p, 30 frames per second, lower your bit rate down to about 2000 or 2500. If you can't get an upload speed better than that, switch internet providers, move. I don't care what you have to do, that's bad. But refresh your course, those are the 3 settings that I would change if you're having problems with your internet bandwidth. First, drop to 720p, drop the video bitrate down to about 3500. If you're still having issues, drop the frames per second down to 30, and then drop the bitrate down to 2500. With the way bitrate works, keeping the resolution high while lowering that bitrate, you're gonna see a lot of weird pixelations going on when there's heavy movement on the screen. Lowering the resolution of the stream will actually maintain a higher integrity of footage. By the way,